So we started the Ois Dalet from the bottom of we just started, might as well start from the beginning again for various reasons. Vezehu means this which we have explained till now explains and points to the following. It's directly related to the fact that the koiches themselves come forth in a hagbola manner and his chalkus in subdivision manner. What this is implying is that it may appear on the functioning level that the differences between the various koiches, the specificity in all the koiches is due to the particular situation. Like for example, if I have to throw something far out, I use a different degree of the koyach than if I have to move it just from one place to another within reasonable proximity. It's exactly the same koyach, but it's being controlled by the mind to exert a limited quality of the koyach. In that perspective, it would be the exact same koyach when you throw a ball or write. It's a koyach hatnua shebiyad, except when you write, you have a different degree of control than when you throw, or when you transport, carry something. So we are saying that the koiches are actually themselves. This is not just a superimposed control. The koiches themselves relate to what they are doing. The hand has a different koyach hatnua than the foot. It is not merely that you have a better control. It's a different kind of koyach hatnua. How does the hand get a different koyach hatnua than the foot? The same koyach hatnua. And the answer to that is that the hand senses a different chayut nefesh than the foot senses it. This we already discussed, and I just want to bring it back because it's extremely significant. In order to perform any action of meaning, There has to be an environment that provides place, provides meaning to a controlled action. What I mean to say is, when you write, for example, the effect of writing, and this whole significant, the whole concept of writing, is not only on the end product, but after you have written on the paper, oh, this is a written word. But while you're writing, you're just moving your hand. And you're controlling, moving your hand in a certain way. So we say that's not the case. The hand is involved in writing. Where is the whole concept of writing come to the hand? The hand is a bodily, is a physical presence. How does the hand relate to writing? So, although it is definitely true that the hand does not relate to writing the way the brain does, it does not appreciate the result of its activity. But nevertheless, there is an element at which point that the hand does relate. And this element is, if we were looking at the hand exclusively from a physical perspective, there's absolutely no difference how you move the hand and what you do with it. Which is all the differences are only on the result of your movement. The action itself is totally insignificant. Because in a physical world, that action has no meaning. In order to, so then if that were the case, so then all action, even the most intricate and the most sensitive action, would actually be similar to a machine to it. It's a robotic action. You're just controlling it. You're directing the hand. Don't go there, go here. If you go there, I'm going to punish you. There's no living above. In order to do anything other than just the lowest level of physical activity, there has to be some kind of a spirit, some kind of meaning to it. So this is what we're saying till now. That yes, indeed, the koichos are kolon nefesh. But in order to bring forth these koichos, they're kolon in nefesh. They're not kolon, like we said, in a separate pouch. In order to bring out these koichos, there has to be also an emanation of nefesh itself. Which illuminates the whole physical phenomenon. So it's not just physical. There is life to it. And once you start talking about there is life, oir v'chayis hanefesh, then you can relate to this life in different ways. This koyach and that koyach. This is, in analogy, it is no different than physical life, illumination. If you're in the dark and you're going to set up these tables and these chairs, There is no sense of difference how you set them up. You have a table, get rid of it. Put it in this corner, put it in that corner. Put it where it fits. There is not a meaning in where it ends up to be and how it stands. But if you illuminate it, then you see everything in proximity to everything else. And not only that, but you'll see everything in the context of the room that embodies it. Then it assumes a different meaning. If it stands straight, it stands crooked, it stands here, it stands here, the proximity and so forth, everything gets meaning. Why? Because there's an overall presence. It is the room that provides the accommodations for this table, not the table takes up room. And if the room provides accommodation for the table, then it provides it and it assigns the specific place where it belongs. This is a correct, so that we can analogy, but we have to put it on a higher level in the chayut hanefesh. There are the koyches hanefesh are innumerable. There's all kinds of varieties. The variety and the variance in activity is unbelievable. But everything is provided for, not in superimposed manner. It's provided for because because there is a living environment. There's a meaning to this action prior to the action. In other words, the action of writing is not only the final product, the written word, but writing is a human action. Just as speaking is a human action. Just as thinking is a human action. Although that the primary thing in thinking is what you're thinking about. And where do you get that content? From the nefesh. But the nefesh also says, not only the content, I want you to think it through. I want you to bring it out on the thought level. I want you to bring it down on the speaking level. I want you to bring it down on the writing level. This is the oy b'chayes hanefesh. And from this oy b'chayes hanefesh perspective, this is what illuminates all our actions. And thus, moving the object on the table from here to here is not just the result it was moved, but there's an activity of movement. There's a chayus to it.
We spoke in the last handshake. We spoke about this idea in the context of the kind of a nefesh is mispashim until we mark.
Yeah.
We spoke about this very same meaning. So now we're saying it's because the koiches have meaning and bad.
Yeah, but it's true. I spoke about it. Don't forget that hamshik was also part of AyinBase. But here we had much greater detail. It's one thing to say a Tanakh HaNefesh, a Rotz HaNefesh, and another thing is to say that it is actually formulating itself in proximity to the koyach that it wants to reveal. It reveals itself in the hand differently than the foot. The hand has a different level of oil ha-nefesh than the foot has. because the hand has a different level of functionality. You understand what's going on?
No.
You don't understand what's going on?
No, honestly, I'm not.
So you come more seldom.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I'm open to suggestions.
What is it that you don't understand?
Let's start with what's being spoken about.
What?
I said let's start with what's being spoken about. No, I'm not following.
We had several classes when I explained the end of the previous Beis. And I had you to listen to it because we repeated it 5 times. There is the truth is, as time goes on, I realize that there are all kinds of different ways to bring it down very close to our thinking, but then we still have to think. We have spoken in the past an interesting thing. You have a house and a room in a house. In order to have a house, you have to have open space. When you put up a house and you demarcate open space, you have not changed the space in iota. It's exactly the same space that was there before. The difference is only it's demarcated. And this demarcation now enables you to think of this space in a completely different way. Not in open space, but in a contained space. And when you look in the room, it says, oh, it makes sense to put up a table and a chair over here. Whereas when you have open space, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't belong to it, doesn't relate to it. So there are 2 points to it. On the one hand, when it is demarcated, it kind of begins to reveal different quality, different functionalities. But it is still not just the functionality. The space is exactly the same. In other words, there is still the openness, the highest element, the provision that is unlimited. You can put the table over here because it does not limit you what you put here. This is the remainder of the open space. So that you remain relating to the highest level of reality. But it comes through in a trickle, in a limited fashion. The similar thing is in chayut nefesh. Chayut nefesh is chayut nefesh. But the chayut nefesh, the nefesh is mitzamtzem itself to provide chayus such that would enable to relate to the different kochos. It's exactly the same chayut nefesh, in essence, but the demarcation, the limiting aspect, and bring out the relationship to different kind of kochos. To walking, very, very low level. To throwing, a level slightly above. To transforming is a level slightly above. Because then you're way of thinking about the function and the purpose of it. To writing is much, much higher than that. To drawing a picture is even higher than that. It's all part of the chayes nefesh, but it comes in different with different demarcations, and it focuses your attention to different aspects. Interesting. I spoke to an artist. I was watching him. When he draws a picture, a painting, canvas, it is the canvas that directs him where to put what. Canvas is an open canvas. This big or that big is not the same canvas. But that demarcation enables him to identify various parts of this painting.
Even though it's like a clean canvas?
Excuse me?
It's a clean canvas?
It's a clean canvas. That's what the first thing he does is draw a line around his window. That has not changed anything. But it has given the clean canvas, presented the clean canvas with a focus. And this is what enables it. The nefesh provides chayes nefesh, oyer v'chay, oyer, light. But it provides light in a focused manner, for the hand and for the foot and for the head, all different levels. As a result, different koiches surface, come out. These koiches are contained in the nefesh, but they, as we say, they're in a union manner. From this Yuli is drawn a natural koyach, but it's a living koyach. It represents nefesh. No? Yes? No?
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand what you're saying there. I'm not exactly sure how to incorporate into what you started speaking about, the idea that you might think that the hand doesn't relate to what it's doing, that the writing is only the result.
Okay, that's why I said, even after I say everything, you have to still think.
I feel like that's really just asking a lot.
Is the hand involved in moving the cup? Mm-hmm. Or is the hand just a robotic arm? And the result is that this got moved.
When you say a robotic arm, you mean to say it's only just a tool for the mind, whereas the primary seat of the nefesh? Because obviously,
whoever's in control, but the hand is not involved in this. There's no difference whether the cup was moved by a living arm or it was moved by a mechanical arm.
Rabbi Paltiel, I saw in the beginning of the shir, I understood that you could think that the ischalkus of the koiches and the various things that is as a result of the circumstances, and no, really the koiches themselves come in ischalkus and it's in tablamayla. So and then the latter half of the shir, what I was hearing was more the kitzur, that the nefesh itself is mitztamsem lefi oifen ha'ivorim, that in the ischalkus is the nefesh itself. So I was hearing in the beginning of the shir, I was hearing the beginning of Dalit, of Dalit.
No, what?
That the koiches themselves come b'yischalkus, rather than it being the koiches b'pshitus and the yischalkus as a result of the circumstances. And then in the latter half of the shir, I was hearing more the kitzer, that the nefesh itself is mitztamsem with the oifen ha'yivor.
Ah, okay, so this is the big challenge for us to understand. Yes, indeed. These are koiches. But in the koyach needs nefesh, an environment, for it to function in a specific way. That's the whole big thing. Like I said, we have this demarcated area. This is nefesh, but it's demarcated. For what? For this particular activity. And this is what enables the koiches to come out in a limited fashion. Because they're nefesh koiches, they're not sitting in a pouch.
The nefesh is the demarcation.
The nefesh is not the demarcation. Nefesh is bligvul, but the way the nefesh is misgale, misamtzem. In order to feel koichet, nefesh is misamtzem to enable to fit in the particular oiver and to enable this oiver to bring out its qualities. And the chayus hanefesh, the oiver chayus hanefesh in every oiver is different. In the hand is different than in the hand, and in the hand is different than in the foot.
But we get a mushla from a house. The space is being demarcated. So first there's a general demarcation, the nefesh, then there's koiches, or in each koich there's a specific demarcation.
In each koich there's a specific demarcation. The living room will look differently than your dining room and the kitchen and the bathroom and the bedroom. Which is just emotional. Okay, really, it's a physical motion. You can use any room for anything, but the proper way to demarcate it is suitable. Like we said many times, you're walking into in a house, it's empty of furniture. You immediately say, "This is a dining room. This is a living room. This is a bed."
But if there's a general demarcation before, then it's subdivided. So here we're not saying that there's a general demarcation, then there is koiches from that demarcation.
There is a demarcation. There's a house. And then before...
What is the initial here in the nefesh? Do we say there's a first a general
There's a chayes and
demarcation,
nefesh, there is a rotzen, and there's everything has different stages. All the way down to the point where it comes down in specific koyach. Even
So
in the
the root
koyach.
nefesh, so the root and oinig, that's the demarcation for the koiches in general.
The rotzen becomes demarcated specifically for a specific koyach also. And give a chayes to the particular inyan. All right. This is it for this morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
You're welcome.
Good morning.